She's also been charged with possession of proceeds of crime. Seen here measuring her product in the exclusive story that brought the spotlight to Dakine, Wilt told us at the time she wasn't naive about what could happen to her.
There is the threat of us getting stepped on, but you know what, we're going to spring back up and we're going to be open. We're serious about this, and they're not going to shut us down. If they do shut us down, then it's a damn criminal misuse of public funds now, isn't it? Because we're doing what's good, and it's not in their interest to shut us down.
They know what you're doing, the police?
They do know what we're doing.
And what's the response?
The response is being very good. They've been just stepping back from it.
Wilt has hired a high-profile lawyer who spent this afternoon arguing for her release.
We reinvested everything that we made, and the allegations that we made $30,000 a day is just absurd. The 2 days leading up to the raid, we had so much attention. We were getting over 1,000 customers a day.
1,000 customers. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Yeah. And were any of them complaining?
No, and no, they were all signing up. They were. We made them sign the form and have it witnessed by one of us.
I know, and you think...
And they all did it to get pot. And they all put their... And we told them straight up when they were in our store that you're at risk of being raided right now and arrested for possession or whatever. And none of them left.
I know that I'm seen as the poster boy for drugs. In fact, I'm not.
Today, Mayor Larry Campbell says he did have a friendly conversation with Rich Coleman, but he says that had nothing to do with the raid. It was a VPD decision.
You see, people assume that, you know, I pick up the phone and say to the chief, gee, there's a drug operation going here, go down and bust it. I don't. That's not my job.
Now, Rob, they've arrested people for selling the pot. Yeah. What about the store's suppliers?
That's a good question. When we put to the VPD today, they say they're still investigating the supply and where it comes from. They also threw out a line about organized crime.
And back in the hands of organized crime.
Now, it seemed a little strange in the middle of this news conference because they really couldn't back up any links between organized crime and the cafe here. When pushed on the topic, they said they're still investigating that matter as well. The day after the raid, with his boss in jail, Boudreau opened the store for business, defiantly deciding to continue selling pot.
Like, no, seriously, think about it. Like, how many other places has been done? Like Amsterdam, halfway across the world. BC, Canada, right? I'm so proud to be part of this coalition.
Wilt insisting 2 days later she wasn't doing anything wrong.
All I'm trying to be is a business person.
And despite the hush order, even city councillors who support the legalization of marijuana aren't kidding themselves about the cafe's future. Councillor Jim Green suggested pot cafes may not be quite so terrible.
I think that we're known throughout at least North America as trying very hard to use harm reduction techniques wherever we can.
It was all a bit much for BC Solicitor General, who had this to say the day before the raid.
There's some people who actually think it's okay to mollycoddle down to issues with regards to drugs. I don't buy that.
Once our licensing people received this, they spoke to the owners, and the owners said that they would not be selling marijuana. And that's coming from our staff. Our staff is very experienced. Obviously, the city of Vancouver would not give a license to somebody to sell marijuana.
And the dispensing of medicinal marijuana.
There it is.
This is the original statement.
This is the original statement from City Hall, right there.
And now City Hall is looking to revoke your business license based on all the media attention and the pressure from different...
Vancouver's mayor, who's long been an advocate for safe injection sites and compassion clubs, has no compassion for Dakine.
I don't look at the Dakine in a warm, fuzzy fashion. I don't think it's doing anything for those of us who are trying to get sane drug laws in this country. The idea that the city would issue a license to an organization to sell marijuana is ludicrous.
Still, many customers look at Dakine and see a way to change the laws.
It'd be a lot better if it was sold in a place where it can be taxed. I'm sure we can use the money.
It gets it all off the street, period. End of story. Prohibition has been a failure.
MDP MP Libby Davies represents this area. She says the status quo is obviously not working.
If we're going to have places like Dakine, let's have them properly regulated. The problem here is that our drug laws are archaic, and they need to be reformed, they need to be changed to be realistic.
Now the police are hoping the city will step in and pull the shop's business license immediately.
And new allegations are being leveled tonight about what and when the city knew about the Dakine Cafe's plans to sell marijuana. Was it before, after, or during the process of granting Dakine a business license?
And just how did you communicate your intentions to? Like, did you just call them up, or did you meet with them? Did you tell anybody in particular?
Yeah.
Because it does sound a little odd that they didn't know, and they're saying they didn't. So if there's somebody that you met with that we could go and say, well, wait a minute, did you not?
Submitted in January of 2004 indicated the cafe would be selling pot and adds that police were fully aware of that.
But Vancouver police say this inspection report was filled out by Constable Jeff Rice back in January, and it clearly indicates what the owners had planned. The officer made note of the owners' answers to questions about the nature of their business. When asked what they meant by a compassion club, Carol Gwilt, the owner, stated, for the dispensing of medicinal marijuana.
And a city inspection report dated January 19th clearly shows the owners intended to open a cafe compassion club. There's already one compassion club in Vancouver, a club where strict rules require customers to have a medical referral. The Dakine points to that operation and asks, what's the difference? Still, the city seems surprised Dakine was actually selling marijuana. And that's why the city wants to yank Dakine's business license.
No, and what you did was the most advanced experiment I've ever seen. You guys invested a lot of money in Dakine. Didn't you spend $40,000 just to make it a nice place?
Yeah, we spent a lot of money.
Yeah, it was great. It was a beautiful project.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And you had a smoking room at the front, but they could probably smoke in the whole thing, couldn't they?
No.
No? You could only let them...
We did conform to that.
Oh, did you? Okay. And that was cool for a while? Like the health department never came by? And
No, the provincial tax, or tobacco tax department, the officer came by and checked it all out. It's like, okay, I'm going to sign this one off.
Says it is our intention to operate within the parameters of the law with respect to cannabis. The store will sell accessories such as rolling papers, pipes, and books. As well, I quote, I understand there remain obstacles when it comes to the legal distribution of medical cannabis to medical users. We will continue to work towards overcoming these obstacles through legal and pro-social means.
They were wishing us luck. People along the way, the inspectors that would come in, and everybody was, this is really cool, I wish you luck.
Why not put it into cafes like this that are licensed, that are paying taxes, okay, that are keeping the crime element out of it?
Even our southern neighbors say it makes sense for Canada and the U.S.
A lot less people would go to jail, there'd be a less crime rate, the government could put a tax on it, it'd be fine.
Like, as soon as the media came, the next day the customers came in droves. People were supporting it, and they all knew that they were at risk of being raided at any of
I know, I think it's so beautiful. It was the most beautiful thing ever. It was just beautiful. And the weather, when I would sit there just next door in those restaurants, and I would just marvel, boy, it's a beautiful day on this block. It's sunny, it's wonderful, weeds being sold, the bubble man's got the bubble going. I'm thinking, this is the best place in the world.
And
you know what? And no one complained in 4 months. See, this is the thing. So these are all political crimes by the police. And of course, the police have really picked up their intensity in the last couple of months in regards to prosecuting activists like me. The new bill is before the House of Commons on Tuesday, the American election day. Very suspicious, right?
When they come here and see this, I want them to know that this is our street, this is our city, and this is what we want, and that we have the right to have it. This is what makes Vancouver so great. It's this progressive type of vibe that's here right now.
Used to do a brisk business tonight, 5 days after being raided by police.
The Dakine Smoke Shop is still open
on Dakine Cafe.
To Dakine Cafe.
At the Dakine Smoke and Beverage Shop on Commercial Drive.
The Dakine will.
The Dakine Smoke and Beverage Shop.
Dakine.
The Dakine Cafe on Commercial Drive.
Dakine Cafe.
Dakine is
an establishment that's allegedly been selling marijuana over the counter for months.
For openly selling marijuana.
Selling an illegal drug over the counter.
A Vancouver pot shop.
The marijuana business.
Controversial pot shop.
Controversy.
Controversy continues over how the pot-selling cafe store selling pot from its premises.
And more controversy is now brewing at the shop, which openly sells marijuana to customers.
By openly, allegedly selling pot over the counter even after she was arrested last
night, despite the police raid that played out live on this newscast last week.
Is back in business. For now, the situation will be monitored. Another raid is still a possibility.